Okay, so this video is for the chapter 3 review. We're on problem number 11. So it says, which of the following is a function? So we have to remember that a function means that every input can only have one output. So it looks like on A, 2 is trying to go with a W and an L. So A does not work. B looks like it's okay. A -1, 2, a -2, and 4, they're all going to individual things. C does not work because 1 is trying to go to A and 1 is trying to go to W. Up here it was not an L, it was a 1, but C does not work either. And D does not work because a -4 goes to W and then -4 goes to A. So B is the correct answer. Okay. Okay, number 12, it says, from the graph, find the domain and range. So the domain and the range, the domain is what can go in as far as the x's. So you're looking for smallest to largest, which is just left to right. So it looks like we're going from a -8 all the way through a +9. So a -8 through, +10, sorry about that. They go by 2, so +10. So, and we're including, so it looks like A is the only one that will not work on that. Okay. And then the range is from the smallest to the largest. So this was our domain was here to here. And then our range is our smallest here up through our tallest, largest here. So it goes from a -4 to a +8. So from a -4 to a +8. So letter D is it. And number 12. Okay, number 13. Number 13, they gave us two functions, f and g, and they're asking us to evaluate 7 times the f function evaluated at 3 divided by the g function evaluated at 4. So I am going to do that right here. So 7 times, we're going to evaluate the f function at 3. So the f function at 3 is 1 over, and that's going to be 3 squared plus 5, all over the g function evaluated at 4. So that means that 4 is going in for x. Okay. So 7 over 3 squared is 9 plus 5 is 14. And then we have 1/2 plus 1 there. And that reduces to 1/2. So 1/2 plus 1 is 3/2. So that's really 1/2 divided by 3/2. I like to rewrite it as a division because it's easier for me to see here. So keep it, flip it, change it means we're keeping the first fraction. We're flipping the second fraction. And we're changing the division to a multiplication. So the 2's cancel and we end up with 1/3. So letter A. Okay. Let's look at 14. 14 says temperature. We have a function for temperature in degrees Celsius in a sauna n minutes after being turned on. Find the temperature in the sauna after 4 minutes. So that means we are just putting 4 in for n, or we could really say x. So I am going to go to Desmos. And I'm doing here. And you could either write it as an equation, or you could just write a negative 0.03 times 4 squared, whoops, 4 squared, plus 1.5 times 4 plus 13. And it looks like 18.52, so letter 18.52, and then so letter C is it. I'm gonna go back and share my screen again. So letter C. So we did some work with variation, types of variation. So 15 is all about that. So it says when X is 36, Z is 6, Y is 24. Find Y if X is 72 and Z is 8, when Y varies directly with X and inversely with the square of Z. So when we worked with these problems, we said we needed to come up with the outline equation. And so it says Y varies directly with X and inversely with the square of Z. Y varies directly with X. So Y varies, we have to have the constant of variation directly with X and inversely. So the inversely means that it's going to be in the denominator with the square of Z. Okay, and so we know that it's true when these values are in the equation. So when Y is 24, when X is 36, and Z is 6. So 24 equals K, 36 over 36. So those cancel. So K must be 24. Okay, so if that's true, now we know our actual equation is this. And they want to know, find Y if X is 72 and Z is 8. So if X is 72 and Z is 8. Okay, so I'm gonna just do this math in Desmos because that's too much math for me to do in my head. So 24 times 72, 1728 divided by 8 squared is 27. So I came up with 27. I came up with 27. So B is the correct answer for that one. So number 16, distance and weight. The weight W needed to balance a lever varies inversely with the distance X from the fulcrum to the weight. If a weight of 150 takes 7 feet to balance the lever, find the distance required by a weight of 210 pounds to balance the lever. Wow, I don't know much about fulcrum, so that makes it a little bit difficult, but we know that the weight W varies inversely with the distance X. Okay. So this is number 16. Okay. So it says the weight is varying inversely with the distance X. And we know the weight is 150. and the distance is 7. So to find out what K is, we have to multiply by 7. So the constant of variation is 1,050. So that means our equation is really this. And then it says, okay, find the distance X when we know that the weight is 210. So we know the weight is 210 and we need to find X. So I'm going to multiply both sides by X. So I have 210X equals, those cancel 1,050. And then now we're going to divide by 210. And that should be 5. So 5 feet should be my distance. So letter C. So let's look at 17 and then we'll take a quick break. So it says the function R of X is a negative X squared plus 1,000X represents the revenue in dollars that a company makes in each week from the sales of X products. The weekly cost function is given by this. Find the weekly profit made by the company when 100 products are sold. So we have to remember that profit is our revenue, the money that we take in from the sales, and subtract away any costs that we have. So we are going to, and they really want us to find the profit at 100. So we need to find this is number 17. So we're going to find the profit at 100 means that we're taking the revenue at 100 and subtracting the cost at 100. So that would be the revenue at 100 is a negative of the 100 squared. And make sure we're taking a negative of that because it's negative X. We're not squaring the negative. Plus 1,000 times 100. This is the R function. Subtracting this, the cost function is 3,000 plus 2 times 100. That's the cost function. So that's going to be a negative and then 10,000 plus 1,000 times 100 is 100,000. And then we're going to distribute this negative through. So subtracting 3,000, subtracting 2,000. So sorry, subtracting 200. Okay. So we have really 100,000. Subtracting 10,000, subtracting 3,000, subtracting 200. So it's really subtracting 13,200. So if you take 100,000, subtract 13,200, that would be 86,800. So that would be letter C. Touch me back for the last video on the review for problems 18, 19, and 20.